All right. Joined now by Liberty Senior forward Kyle Rode and Jason Porter of Jason Porter Real Estate. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I was good
absolutely.
right up until Chet Hassan brings in standard deviation on a Monday night. I mean, just having doctoral flashbacks.
Well, we promise that'll be the last time of that tonight. No, we can't promise that here. Jason, let's have you go ahead and get us started here with some questions for Kyle.
Yeah, a little bit of my thunder there, Nick, but as usual. But Kyle, I think if you would have chalked up the statistics that we just kind of ran through, a 17% shooting night for you guys from threes, atypical for you, 9 point night. Darius has seven. The other point guards pick up the slack, but to have still only lost that game by 3 points. You guys had a day or two to digest it now at this point. Obviously, it's a rearview mirror thing, but we get to go back and kind of be retroactive. What have you kind of seen on that as you thought about that on a long bus ride home, I'm sure?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think when you get in those kind of games, like if you're a basketball player, you've been through them, right? And so I think the best part about our system is defensively, we're built to stay in those games where, hey, maybe you're not shooting it well enough, but at the end, hopefully you got a chance to win it. And felt like our guys we were all saying the right things, trying to make defensive stands. They hit some great runs, 9 points or 11 points, whatever it was, and just to battle back, be able to chip away and be able to tie it at the end. I mean, super proud of our group, and especially when you're not shooting the ball well. I know that fractures teams sometimes, and even though it was a loss, everything we want in this season is still ahead of us, and yeah.
So the national championship's on the night. And so I got a football related question, kind of. A lot of people, well, Coach McKay and a few others I have heard say that Kyle is the best leader we've had, and he's the Tim Tebow of this team. All right. So at any point, do you feel that we're at a point where you need to like slam the table and scream "not on my watch" and do the whole Tim Tebow rah rah ree thing? Are we at that point yet? And if we do get to that point, would you be willing to step up to the table and give us the Tim Tebow speech of your life if we needed it?
Hey, that's a really good one. No, we're not at that point. The sky's not falling, nothing like that. And but yeah, whatever our team needs to win, I think that's the beauty of playing here. Like everybody listens to everybody, right? It's horizontal leadership. Like you can input information, speak freely, and you got guys that you trust with your life to check you and to also call you up and call you out. And but so yeah, if that time ever came, I would definitely feel comfortable enough to do that. But not right now.
Good.
Kyle, it felt like maybe the biggest positive of the game was the play of Colin Porter playing against a really difficult team in terms of a team that likes to turn you over and force steals. Felt like he really just stepped up in a game where everyone was cold shooting. Was that kind of your takeaway of the game? Just the play of Colin?
Yeah, CP is so solid, and he does everything you want a true point guard to be and to do. He can shoot it, he can pass it. He has finishing ability at the rim, like we saw, and he's a gamer, man, and he did a great job. I know he was super excited to play back in Kentucky, like I was, and he did a great job, and that's what our team is, man. We're built up of guys that are ready for challenges to step up, and when their role is needed more in some games, they're all about it. So he's been great for us, especially as a freshman.
Kyle, taking a peek at the standings now, we've got a little bit of a log jam in second place. I know you're not allowed to look at that, we'll tell you. But got four teams that are tied up at 2-1 at that mark. Is that do you think that's kind of indicative of what's of the season ahead of us, or is that just kind of an early traffic jam?
Yeah, I think 18 games in a conference season. I think it's a long one, right? And teams after Christmas can drop some, and teams can win some depending on where they are, and it's a long one. So you just gotta block that out right now and take it game by game, practice by practice, and then that stuff kind of shakes itself out. I know the conference has gotten a lot better since I've been a freshman as well, and it's super cool to see the level of basketball that the ASUN has right now, and we're super excited that we're able to compete in it, and just going to take it game by game, that stuff all shake out itself.
Yeah, that's my question. On top of that is we're watching again the national championship tonight. I'm going to keep saying that so Nick hears me. The national championship game is tonight, and football is one of those where game one can just ruin the rest of your season, and game two can ruin the rest of your season. Basketball, especially where we're at right now with our situation, it feels like a crescendo to March. Do you guys feel that? Do you talk about that? Like, we need to be playing our best ball in March. And does it make a game like Sunday easier to shake off because you're like, all right, we still have all of our goals ahead of us and we need to improve from that, and glad it happened now and not later. Talk to us just about that whole process of developing so that way you are playing your best ball at the end, which is a little bit different than college football.
Yeah, I think we kind of take it as a perspective of each game we're trying to stack. Each day we're trying to stack a day to where when March does come, we're our best selves, and in that deposit that we've been putting in all season really just keeps building on itself. And by March, hopefully you're healthy and hopefully you're playing your best basketball. And I think it's different than football, like you said, just because every game, one lost season doesn't get you out of the college football playoff. But at the same time, I don't like to lose. I know we got a bunch of guys that don't like to lose. So trying to stay positive and keep that perspective as best you can is important though too. So.
All right, here's my stat nerd question of the night for you, Kyle. So defense playing really well. 7 consecutive games. You guys have allowed 1 point or less per possession, 11 of the last 12. Last year, I think your high water was 4. How good is your defense playing right now? How happy are you after a couple games earlier in the year where you had some teams that really were able to put up some big numbers to get you? How happy are we with your defense at this stage of the season?
Yeah, no, I think our intentionality defensively has been there, and our execution has gotten a lot better. And still, you can see how lapses of small incisions, is like Coach talks about, can lead to 11-0 runs or 9-0 runs, and then you're battling back. And so I think we're going to keep getting better and try to eliminate those as best we can. But I think the work we've been putting in daily has really been paying off, and there's still another couple levels for us to get to defensively. And I think that's the best part, is we're still pursuing our best self defensively. And it's encouraging though when you have numbers like that and you feel like you can get stops really whenever you want. And I think that's the belief kind of we all have right now, and going to keep building towards that.
If Nick gets the stat nerd question, I get the sports medicine nerd question here, Kyle. I think our audience may be a little bit surprised to know something. Post game, when you guys are home, you go lift. And I think a lot of folks would be floored by that, because I don't want to speak for Nick and Chad, but I think when we leave the gym, we're not thinking about that. We're dragging ourselves out and we're looking for an IV and whatever else, and yet you guys go to the weight room and get after it a little bit. Tell us about the post-game lift and how that fits into everything, because that seems crazy to the civilians out here.
Yeah, 100%. Once the game's over, you're normally due for another 45 minutes to an hour, depending on lift and recovery with Shrine. And the lift is great. Like Coach Hornet does such a good job with our lifting schedule and programming, and it's really specific for who you are as an athlete. And we all go in there, and it's really kind of fun to be with the guys a little bit and get a quick lift in. So it's nothing too crazy, but it's really intentional and purposeful, and it actually really helps too. So it's pretty unique.
Kyle, who on the team? I mean, we have leaders. You said it's horizontal leadership. Who on the team kind of can break the ice with the comedic relief here and there? I see. I mean, there's a lot of guys that clown around a lot of times, but who's the one guy that you can count on? Like, all right, Coach, just let us have it. Everybody's tense. Who's the one guy that can come in and everybody's like, oh yeah, like he just cracks everybody up. Take us inside of that little bit of team camaraderie.
I think you would say Gabriel. I think you would see G. McKay. I think he does a really good job of he's so well respected in our locker room and on the court, what he does. And and at the same time, he's got a great personality about him and a leadership gift on his life that kind of like you said, he can make a tense situation almost feel comforting, but at the same time, like we know it's still serious. So I think I would definitely say G.
Even if his dad is even if in the situation I just said, it's his father, the man who raised him is the one chewing you guys out. He still can lift the mood that way.
Oh, he's definitely had the longest time to navigate how to handle
true.
that.
That's true. That's
so
true.
I think he's got a special gift in that. So
nice, very cool.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, thanks so much for taking some time to join us this week. 2 home games this week. Everyone come out, support the Flames, who are having a great season, and we can't wait to see what's next, Kyle.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me come out and support us on Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that was our guy, Kyle Rode. So, Jason, I got a question for you, Mr. Real Estate. So there's a big debate between buying a house or a townhouse. What are some of the pros and cons with that?
Yeah, great question, Nick. So I think the biggest part of it really is just going to depend on the individual and knowing what would be the actual lifestyle that they want to have. Obviously, if you're in a townhouse, you've got a little bit more of a tight neighborhood community. You're not having to worry about mowing the grass and some things along those lines, and you wind up paying for that offset cost-wise with paying what's called the HOA, the Homeowners Association. Probably heard about that. But at the same time, when it comes to reselling or even with rent, townhouses can be a little bit slower on the move because you're looking at a big block and everything kind of moves slowly. You don't have the most expensive townhouse on the block, kind of a thing like you do in a regular single family home. So to contrast that, on the single family home side or just the home side of things, you're getting the yard and you're getting some space. And a lot of people, of course, sort of see themselves graduating from the townhouse and moving into a house because they want some space and they want the yard and the kids and the pets and the dogs and stuff to run around. So just depends on lifestyle. A whole different category of discussion too when it comes to townhouse versus single family for investment properties and those kind of things too. But definitely speak that language as well. If anyone wants to talk about that, I'd be glad to offer some expertise and experience. And a little sidebar on that, certainly help clients buying for themselves personally, but also on the investment front. Both townhouses and single families are great investments right now. The market's definitely picking back up.
I got a question for Jason. I don't get a chance to put him on the fryer here too often. Jason, it came up today. I have a friend who is looking. He's in the construction business and remodeling and all that. And he was like, I think me and my wife have decided we're going to flip a house. He wants to try to flip a house. And he was asking me and a couple of other guys, he was like, how much should I put into a house to flip it? Like, if I buy it for 100,000, is there some guidelines like, or is it just all situational? Or is there some guidelines like, man, if you're getting up there into 10, 20% of what you paid for it, it's probably not a good idea to try to flip it. Is there some, there's tons of guidelines in real estate. Is there anything general for that? And sorry if that's put you on the spot there.
No, for sure. I better be able to answer that. It's all math, basically, Chad, is what it comes down to first and foremost. But most importantly, I'll just give you the quick equation on this. The quick equation is what you can resale the property for. So in other words, it's called ARV, after repair value, after you've done all the work, all the renovations, whatever else, what the house could go for on the market and actually sell. And you begin to actually work your math backwards. So you take that top sale price of what you would get for the house, and then you work your way down. And that tends to dictate, obviously, whether it's a good deal or not. The last couple of years, the margins have been so tight because the market's been so hot. It's hard to find the good deal and buy it at the front side. But the other famous saying on that is you make your money on the purchase and not on the sale. So in other words, you've got to really, really, truly buy low. But really, when it comes to the math side of it, you sort of reverse engineer that, going to that what we could put it back on the market and actually sell it for after the repairs are done.
Makes total sense, man. I appreciate it. I knew there was a reason that we were aligned on this podcast here tonight. So I'll take that back to my friend.
There you go.
All right, Jason. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate you coming on and all your support as always.
Thanks, gentlemen. Have a good week.
Yep, you too.
You too.
See you at the Liberty Arena this week.
Right on.